If you're wanting to start and launch your very first online course, six figures can feel like a daunting figure. It can feel like it's extremely out of reach. And so today I want to show you 3 simple paths to get to six figures with your first digital course. That's coming up. Hey, what's up, Digital Dads? I hope you're having a phenomenal week. If you're brand new here, my name's Kerry. I'm the founder of Digital Dads, and I created this channel to help dads escape the 9-to-5 grind and create an online income through a digital course business. Let's jump right into it today. I've got my iPad out, and I want to talk about 3 paths to get to six figures with your first online course. I'm gonna start by breaking down the math, and then we're gonna talk about how I would approach getting to my first 6 figures with basically what the funnels look like, how you would drive the content, and kind of what the strategy looks like. So let's start with the number. The number we need to get to is $8,333 per month. So that's gonna be kind of what we're striving for, is to get to $8,333 per month. That would get us a 6-figure business. So we're gonna start with the math here. Let's say that you wanted to sell a $100 product. So you've got a $100 course, right? So how hard is that to actually get to 6 figures? Well, you need to sell 84 copies per month, and that's going to get you a 6-figure per year business, right? $100 course, you got to sell 84 per month, okay? The second way to do it is with a $1,000 course. Now, there are all kinds of price points in between. I just want to kind of get your mind wrapped around what this looks like. $1,000 course, that's gonna make us, we need to sell 9 per month. Wow, this is getting more doable, right? 9 per month, that's gonna give us a 6-figure business. And the last example I'm gonna give you is a $3,000 product. I think you can kind of do the math at this point. You kind of see where I'm going with this. You only need to sell 3 per month, and that's actually gonna put you, that's gonna get you to 9,000. Same thing on the $1,000 course. So look, I want you to take note really quickly of what these numbers look like and just the difficulty. 84 on a $100 course, only 9 on a $1,000 course, and only 3 on a $3,000 course. Now, some of you watching, you might be thinking, oh man, how could I ever sell a $3,000 course? That seems like so much money. But I can tell you, in my experience, I've sold at all these price points. I've sold at as low as $27, I've sold at $1,000, I've sold at $3,000, $2,500, and even $5,000 and more at these price points. And I'll tell you, this one might be the easiest to sell in my experience, because there's so much less you have to do to sell a $3,000 course than there is on a $50 or $100 course. My personal favorite, and the one that's maybe the most money, is this $1,000 middle point. And so I love the $1,000 course, but it also carries a little bit more complexity than the $3,000 course. Now, the point of this video is not to tell you to go one way or the other, but I will tell you, in my experience, the lower price courses are the hardest to sell for me. And as you move up the chain, they get a little bit easier to sell. But that doesn't mean that a $3,000 or $5,000 course is for everybody. I'm not the guy that's gonna sit here and tell you high ticket this or low ticket that. These all can work, no matter what. No matter what you hear people say, there are people making tons of money with $100 products, tons of money with $1,000 products, and tons of money with $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and more products. But this is the math. I want you to get your mind around that. I want you to visualize how you could accomplish this depending on which price point you want to go with. First up, talking about the $100 course, I want to tell you how I would approach getting sales of your $100 course, and I also want to show you what the sales funnel would actually look like and what I would recommend you do if you want to sell a $100 course. The way that I would recommend that you actually sell your $100 course is I would recommend, would you like to get my simple 3-part strategy to take the knowledge that's already in your head and create a profitable digital course business? If so, I want to invite you to download my free ebook and audiobook called How to Become a Digital Dad. Just go over to kerryeggler.com/book and get your copy completely free. The way that I would recommend that you actually sell your $100 course is I would recommend free content. So something like YouTube, a podcast, even social media, creating free valuable content for your audience and just driving them over to a long form sales page. It doesn't actually have to be super long form. I'm gonna write sales page. It doesn't have to be super long form, because inside of this free content, you are qualifying the lead, you are selling them on it, you're creating trust, you're creating, credibility in this free content. So you actually don't need to do a lot of selling on the sales page, but the better your sales page is, the more, nice copy it has, the more sales copy it has, probably the better it will perform. But what this looks like, what this funnel actually looks like, is it would be kind of a long page where you would have lots of copy. You might have a video. You don't have to have a video, but you might have a video, and you'll have a button that sends over to like a checkout page, or possibly you can have the actual checkout on this page. Either way will work just fine, but you want to send them over to maybe a checkout page where they can enter their information. You probably have some testimonials on these pages. They'll enter their information, and they'll click the buy button, and then they'll go over to a thank you page. This is basically all you need in the sales funnel. Very simple sales funnel. You just need a sales page, has some information about the product, why it would be useful, some testimonials, send them over to a checkout page, and then you have a thank you page. Pretty dang simple, not a lot to it. If you find that you're having trouble with that strategy, if you're just not getting a lot of sales, one thing you can do is you can put an additional page behind the sales page. This is called a tripwire, and this is basically a freebie right behind the sales page. Now you can give away some kind of PDF, you can give away a checklist, a cheat sheet first before you get to the long form sales page that we just talked about, right? That has maybe the video and all that kind of stuff. So one thing you can try is, if this is just not working, the sales page, just try to put a freebie behind it where they can give you their email and get something for free that is of value. They get this freebie, and then immediately when they opt in for the freebie, they give you their email. It goes straight over to the sales page, and the funnel continues from there. We have our checkout, and then we have our thank you, okay? Checkout, where they enter their information, and then we have thanks over here. So you can try both of those strategies, but remember, the big thing here is you don't need a lot of trust building and credibility on the actual sales page, because you're doing it in the free content. And so you don't need a webinar, you don't need a crazy long VSL, you don't need anything like that, because your free content is what's gonna build that trust. Your free content is acting like the webinar or the challenge or whatever the case may be. And another thing to point out is, to get people to spend $97 or $100 is just a different transaction than to get somebody to spend $1,000 or $3,000 or $5,000, right? They don't need as much information a lot of times to make that decision. So this is the way that I would approach it. I would put a huge focus on my free content, making really, really great free content that really sells my course and gets people to spend that $100 just from that content, and build enough credibility and trust with me, know, like, and trust, that they're willing to buy my product without a crazy funnel. Next, let's talk about a $1,000 course. Now, there are many ways to sell a $1,000 course. You've probably heard of webinars, you've heard of all these different things. My favorite way to do it, and what works best for me, is a challenge, a 3 to 5 day challenge. What that is you go live maybe in a Facebook group every day for 3 to 5 days, and you teach your audience something valuable each day and lead them down a path to achieve a small result. And then at the end of that, you pitch your $1,000 product on the back end. The reason I love a challenge is because you don't have to be an amazing salesperson to make a lot of sales with the challenge, because you're giving away so much free information the first few days. Once you get to that pitch, it's so easy to pitch. The pressure is off, and people really love you and trust you by the end of that. Now, just like we talked about in the last one, you can definitely use free content like a YouTube, podcast, or social media to get people to sign up for your free challenge. But one of the best ways that I found to do it, and the way that I still do it, and the way I get most of my leads, is through Facebook and Instagram ads. These still work incredibly well for any kind of live launch. So if you're doing a live challenge, if you're doing a live webinar, if you're doing a live training series, Facebook and Instagram ads, I think, will get you there the fastest, because you'll be able to get leads on day one. And you really don't need complex ads to get leads. You just need a decent image ad with some decent copy to really get leads for your challenge. And so let's break down what the funnel is gonna look like. So you're gonna need an ad. And again, this is just gonna be maybe an image ad with some text there. You're gonna send them over to a registration page. This does not need to be super long, but it needs to have a really strong headline. It needs to communicate why they would wanna sign up for this free event. You might have a short video at the top and a button that has them register and some sales copy, maybe some testimonials, but it doesn't need to be a super complex page. You just need to tell them why this event is gonna benefit them and what they're gonna learn in the event. Once they do that, you just send them over to a thank you page. And on that thank you page, you're gonna have maybe a video or maybe some instructions on what comes next. But what's really important is you have a button, and that button says join the Facebook group. This is where everything is going to be happening and how you're actually gonna conduct this challenge. When they click that button, it's gonna take them over to a Facebook group. And this makes it really easy to put on your challenge because your main goal just becomes get everybody in the Facebook group. And that's where you can actually go live each day and you can give away your free training. And then you'll do, let's say 5 days of training, and coming up on day 4 or day 5, you will actually sell your course. You'll open the cart for a few days and then you'll close it down, right? And that's how you'll actually sell your course. So as you can see, this is a little bit more complex than the first option, but you're also selling a product that is 10 times the price, right? But I think this is actually a faster method to get to 6 figures is by using ads that are relatively inexpensive when you run this type of launch. This is a pretty good strategy to get to that 6-figure mark relatively quickly. Lastly, let's talk about a $3,000 course. Now, the way that this one is a little bit different is you're going to probably want to get your prospects onto a Zoom call or a phone call to actually sell them on the call. Now, because you're getting people on a phone call, this is probably the least complex funnel. It's very, very simple. You need the least amount of pages. You need the least amount of sales copy. But the way that I would recommend getting leads for this is, again, with your free content. Now, if you are really good at running ads, and if you want to put maybe a webinar before the call, or put some kind of challenge before the call, you can do that. But the easiest way I think to do this is do free content like YouTube, podcasts, that kind of thing, and drive them to an application page and have them apply for your program. This could have some coaching with it, all that kind of stuff. But you're basically gonna have an application that maybe you ask for their name and email and phone number. You might ask for some qualifying questions, where they're at in their journey, what kind of help they need. The reason you have an application here is because if you don't, you'll have a lot of people getting on calls with you that are not qualified to actually buy your product. You'll get the wrong prospects. So you want to send them to an application. It also makes it feel more exclusive because you will look at those applications and you'll say yes or no. And that makes it feel like, hey, I'm selected. You picked me, right? When they get in. So you're gonna have them fill out an application. That application is just gonna go to a simple thank you page. And then you're going to reach out to them. And when you reach out to them, you're gonna give them a link if they qualify to your calendar, right? And on that calendar page, they can schedule a call with you. This is a very, very simple funnel. There's not a lot of copy. There's not a lot of videos and different things that need to be created. It's just a super simple funnel. Now, this is very similar to the first method because we're using free content, and we don't need a webinar or anything before the application because our free content can qualify our prospect. It can sell them on the program. So our free content, videos, podcasts, whatever, kind of acts as a sales mechanism, like a webinar or like a challenge, to get people warmed up and get them to trust us for the application, to get them to fill out that application. Now, again, if you want to do ads with this, you probably need to add some kind of like webinar over here before the application, or some kind of, at least a video sales letter, to really get them to apply. But what's cool about this, when you look at this $3,000 strategy here, an application, a thank you, and a calendar invite, and running that from free content, you can see how similar it is to the very first $100 course. This is what's interesting. It doesn't take really any more effort to sell a $3,000 program than it does a $100 program. You can make so much more money, so much easier, and with less work and all that kind of stuff with a higher price program than you can with a $100 program. What I found, again, is that those lower price programs are oftentimes harder to sell. They're just because the skills you need, right? You need to be able to write really good sales copy to sell somebody on that program. Whereas with a $3,000 course, you don't need to do a lot of that. It's just very simple. Just get an application, get on the phone with them, and you can talk to them on the phone, right? Talking to somebody and actually selling them on your product is a lot easier than being able to write really good sales copy and put it on a web page. So that's what I got for you, the 3 paths to get to 100K quickly. If you enjoyed this video today, please hit the like button, help us out. We're a brand new channel and we need your help to spread this content. Also consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell icon to get notified when new videos release. See you next week.